Part 6. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 51. In the eyes of all apprentices, under the gaze of Gatlina, Yang tried to calm his mood and began to display Frozen Rays, which is his best zero-loop spell. 1, 2, 3. Yang's magic seems to be endless, his hands are not even a trembling, every spell is perfect. 13, 14, 15. All the apprentices looked at him intently and watched how powerful the master of the runner-up in the apprenticeship contest was. However, gradually, Yang's forehead oozes a dense sweat. Yang sealed a small part of the magic with a secret method, but at this moment, he suddenly discovered that the magic of the seal had been quietly completely solved. 17. 18. The apprentices on the crowd couldn't help but start cheering. When they entered the Jyota, they were told that the magical power had grown to 20 standard magics, that is, when they were promoted to the official magician. And Yang's current level is infinitely close to the level of the official magician. Finally, after the 19th frozen ray was applied, Yang stopped casting. Yang looked up and looked at Gatlin for the first time with a look of pleading. Just entering the summer, the weather was still refreshing, and his forehead was already sweating. Why don't you continue? Yang, you still have spare power. Come on. As long as you succeed, you can become a formal magician, Gatlin encouraged with a smile. The Austrian instrument that he held in his right hand reflected the dazzling light under the sunlight. For the first time, Yang's fingers began to tremble. Come on. Be sure to succeed. Yang Suashang, there were many apprentices cheering and encouraging from Ziwei, and they seemed to celebrate a grand event. Yang's 20th frozen ray finally succeeded in being cast by everyone, and the frosty white energy was hit on the target. At this time, Gatlin was very satisfied. He nodded and shouted, "My dear apprentices! After a short period of 1 month, the tower will have a new magician. He is Yang. Let we all use applause to encourage and bless him." As soon as the voice fell, the 5 floors of the tower became a sea of cheers, and Yang officially became the protagonist of this feast. After 3 days, I will prepare a promotion ceremony for you. Enjoy this wonderful day. Gatlin gently patted Yang's shoulder and left the noisy crowd. Yang sighed, surrounded by a group of excited apprentices. Fa Wei excitedly patted Yang's shoulder. Yang, you are so hard, you have already reached the peak of the magic apprentice, you are only 16 years old, you are an unprecedented genius in the tower. At this moment, Yang's experience was unprecedented and helpless. He first discovered that things were completely out of control. It seems to be a pet that is tied to the chain. It seems to have freedom, but it will be kept in the cage at any time. Subconsciously, he turned his attention to the position of Ziwei, as if the teenager who was 1 year younger than himself could do anything. At midnight, my lab, Yang's voice came from 11's ear. This is the role of transmission, and other apprentices can't hear it. Yang gratefully glanced at the figure that Ziwei was leaving and began to communicate with people around him. This day, it was so long, Yang tried to keep himself calm, and waited until midnight. This time is usually already asleep. He blessed himself with blasting and barely made any sound to walk through the corridor. The 2 rooms in the immediate vicinity were all high-level magic apprentices' labs. It was already silent and there was no sound. He had just walked to the door of the laboratory belonging to Ziwei, and the door was quietly opened. After he entered, the door was gently closed, as if the 2 worlds were separated. There are already 3 people in the laboratory of Ziwei, a petite girl, Meryl, and a mysterious man wrapped in a cloak, and finally the founder of the singer Ziwei. Yang, sit down first. Ziwei extinguished the magic light, leaving only a faint moonlight shining through the narrow window sill. This is, Yang asked softly. It's me, Charlotte. Charlotte's low and magnetic voice sounded. I drank the blood of the devil provided by Gatlin, awakened the invisible blood of the body, and now it has become the Abiscan Jack. Easy everyone, the door to the room has been silenced by me, the sound is completely isolated, I have set up a sentry, we are safe here. Ziwei gently patted his hands and attracted everyone's attention. For Gatlin's brutality and ruthlessness hidden in the shadows, I think everyone has already had a deep understanding. Today, he has no doubt stretched his claws to Yang again, just like the previous Gali Luo and Palin. We can't afford any losses, everyone must unite and fight against Gatlin. All of you are the best of the towers, and the one who is the most threatened by Gatlin. We must fight with him. At this time, we can't back down. In the impassioned voice of Ziwei, Yang stood up and took a deep sigh of relief. He said sincerely, "Thank you, you are here, it is the greatest help to me." Charlotte smiled lightly, "Helping you is helping me. Everyone is on the verge of life and death. There is nothing to thank. I want to see my mother again. I want to go home." Meryl also looked solemn. "Ziwei instructor, as long as there is a place where I can use it, I will tell you." "Yes, Ziwei, we are all called by you, let us. Charlotte also expressed his position. Yang did not hesitate to say, "Yes, I will listen to you too." He had already made up his mind before he appeared here tonight. Moreover, the person of Ziwei is so mysterious, there must be hidden cards. After being successfully recognized by the three people, Ziwei was also very happy. His efforts during this time were not in vain. Time has been very short. After 3 days, Yang will be forced to enter the 6th floor of the tower, completely falling into the control of Gatlin. There is a proverb in my hometown, called knowing oneself and knowing each other, no wars. Charlotte, now that Gatlin has shared some information about you, what you have to do is to take advantage of the opportunity to go to the 6th floor of the tower in these 2 days, and observe the settings of some laboratories and the secrets of Gatlin. Of course, this is no different from dancing with wolves, don't be too eager to expose what 11 Wei first commanded Charlotte. "No problem. This is handed over to me." Charlotte took a picture of his chest. "Yang, the next 2 days, I will take you out of the tower and fight for some key breakthroughs. I don't know if you have this confidence." Leaving the tower, Yang was a little wrong, but he quickly adjusted it. "I can't help it." Then 11 Wei once again turned his attention to Meryl. "Meryl, I have an important task for you, you see this?" Ziwei stood up and uncovered the black cloth on an object on the test bench. "This is the model of the tower," Meryl exclaimed. "It is a miniature tower model that is displayed in front of a few people. It is about 1 foot high, but it is almost completely proportional. Each layer of the 6-story tower is made out of nowhere, even every small one. The rooms, dormitories, and library have signs. The entire tower model is made of transparent crystals with a flashing highlight. There is magic flowing in it." Yang Minrui noticed the change of magic. "Yes, everyone looks here." Ziwei pointed to a deep red spot that was still on the 6th floor of the tower. This red dot represents Gatlin." Ziwei then pointed to a black dot on the 1st floor of the tower. "This is the butler Edward. Although he is not too young, his body is still very strong and agile, it should be a professional. Then the 4 green spots that are crowded together are the 4 of us. The yellow dots scattered in the dormitory area on the same floor are the ones of Fa Wei." Meryl held the opposite. "Yes, this is the high tower live model I made today." Westway nodded. "I made a mark for every important person in the tower. This mark will record their actions and traces. In the next few days, this high tower live model will be handed over to Meryl for safekeeping. You should monitor whether there are any abnormal moves. Welcome to the readers to read, the latest, fastest, the most fire. The serialized works are all available at mobile users. Please read Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Du. Chapter 52. After Ziwei finished speaking, he found that all 3 people ignored him, and all eyes were staring at this novel magical prop. "Is this magical?" Why is it so amazing? Which material is this model made of? It's so crystal clear, it's really beautiful. You are too good for Ziwei. I never thought there would be such a fun and practical magic item. Because of the frequent need to leave the tower recently, Ziwei had long wanted to be a prop that could monitor the movements of Gatlin and others, and eventually there was a model of the high tower live point. The material of this model is the arcane crystal that has completely absorbed the internal energy. Although there is no energy, it is still an excellent conductor of magic. Even if the magic is not much, the proportion of loss is very small. The existence of living point is a small piece of cloth specially produced by Ziwei containing the secret imprint. The color of each secret imprint is set by Ziwei alone. When this small piece moves, it will be sensed by the live model and displayed in the model. This is undoubtedly a very imaginative idea. The biggest difficulty is how to realize the magical induction. If these days, due to the tidal thoughts, there is a further understanding of the nature of magic, which cannot be achieved anyway. Even so, Zero has made a lot of contributions in this process. In the final step, the steps similar to the mouse giving the bell to the neck of the cat are all done by Zero. She screened through the shadow plane and attached the small pieces of the secret seal one by one to the target man's magic robe lining or hole. The secret imprint. This spell is very unique in the Zero Loop spell. It hardly emits any magical touch. It is very secretive and unique. It can be said that everyone has their own secret imprint. On the basis of the predecessors, Ziwei has developed more new applications for this spell. With this spell, Ziwei can monitor the whereabouts of Gatlin and Edward, so that they can leave the tower with enough confidence. When the curiosity of the three people was satisfied enough, Ziwei then proceeded to arrange, Yang, remember the content that I talked to you on the observation deck that day. Tonight is the time of practice. I hope you have enough spirit. Are you saying that you can break through the magician? The eyes of Yang's eyes flashed brightly, as if the traveler who walked alone in the dark suddenly saw a glimmer of darkness. I am now refreshed and not at all sleepy. That's good. Come with me. You two pay attention to safety, try to reduce the number of meetings and talks. 11 Wei took Yang to the window. This is 4 floors, will it make a loud noise? Yang asked cautiously. Lun, he, hey, Ziwei gently sang 4 syllables. Yang felt that the energy of the wind element in the air was quickly gathered, and then surrounded him. He felt that he was light and much light, as if you can touch the roof at a jump. Is this? This is a simple application of floating. Take time. Keeping this state consumes a lot of magic. Charlotte got the floating spell model and shared it with Ziwei in the first place. This is a standard one-loop spell model. Even though Ziwei did not get through in one day, based on his superiority in wind element affinity, he simplified the way to reduce gravity for a short time. Yang pushed open the narrow window and squeezed his body through the space less than a foot wide. The wind element wraps around him and swells like a chick that is about to fly. The magic robe in the tower is dark black, and Yang jumps, and the thin figure is fully integrated into the night. After a while, there is a very light collision. Ziwei opened the Eye of Elena's blessing spell, Silver Moon. He saw that Yang had settled steadily on the ground 10 meters away from the tower, and did not alarm. Wait for our good news. Ziwei turned and said goodbye to the 2 girls. Just as he lifted his leg and tried to cross the window sill, the sleeves were pulled. Come on, Ziwei, you must succeed, Meryl whimpered with a cry, and the crystal tears fell from her eyes. She also had 2 magics when she arrived in the lab earlier than Yang. She also knew for the first time that there was so much secret in the tower. The original impression of the amiable Gatlin instructor turned out to be an apprentice's life to do dangerous experiments. Terrorist master. At this time, Ziwei stood up, took all the pressure, and also directed the direction of the people, which made Meryl seem to find the backbone. However, at the moment when Ziwei is about to leave, the anxiety and fear in Meryl's heart can no longer be suppressed. Her rationale can no longer stop the impact of this emotional tide. Zai Wei reached out and licked Meryl's short hair. The very neat short hair she had been combed was instantly smashed into a chicken coop. 11 Wei squatted down and stared at Meryl's eyes. Meryl, please rest assured. I never do things that are not sure. Everything is in my grasp. His firmness gave her strength and she was no longer confused. Zai Wei stood up and hugged Meryl. Her body was so soft and petite, like a doll. Come on, everything will change. The darkness is about to pass, the dawn is in sight, Zai Wei encouraged the pat of Meryl's back. I am a little embarrassed, Charlotte's recognizable voice rang at the side of Zai Wei. Zai Wei could only loosen Meryl, patted her shoulders, then turned and made a hug with Charlotte in a fireproof cloak. Do you feel my warmth? My heart is like a fire, burning. A big drama is about to come to an end, I can't wait to see the death of Gatlin. You won't let me down, Zai Wei. Believe me. I never let people down. Zai Wei did not look back this time, and leaped gently from the windowsill, like a free-flying bluebird, traversing a beautiful trajectory in the air, she Chiron feathers falling on the earth on. I always feel like I missed something, Yang teased with a message. Man, our time is so precious, hurry up and bless the wind, let us freely ride in the wilderness of hope. 11 Wei and Yang Fei quickly applied the wind, two figures like the ranger in the forest, soon the shadow of the tower was far behind. This is where you practice spells. Very good, but also hidden, this is the first time that Yang has left the tower for many years. Even if he is as calm as him, the whole body exudes a strong joy. Yes, whenever I come here, I feel like I am completely integrated with nature. The feeling of being restrained, being watched, and feeling embarrassed is completely dissipated. This is freedom, which is what we dream of treasure, it is worth our lives to fight. Zai Wei stretched his arms against the coast, and the large magic robe danced under the breeze of the sea breeze. Yeah, this is the freedom I want. Free, I am coming. Yang was completely infected by the emotions of Shavi. He learned the movements of Zai Wei, and also extended his arms and shouted at the sea. Welcome to the book, friends. To visit, the latest, fastest, most popular serial works are available at mobile users. Please read. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 53. You have already explored the way of the promotion of the magician, the venting of the depression and fear in his heart. Yang turned around to ask Zai Wei. Zai Wei did not speak, the magic was condensed around him, and the tip of his right index finger shone with a pale silver glow. After a while, the silver bullets flew out and hit the coast 20 meters away, splashing a large piece of mud and gravel, leaving a pit half a foot deep on the ground. This hit on the average person is already deadly. This is not the point that a strong zero-loop spell can do it. This is a ring spell. Is it a magic missile? Although it is already ready, 11 Wei actually displayed a ring of magic in front of his face, which is still far beyond Yang's expectations. After all, according to the book Fire, Feng Shui, magical source, Zai Wei is only a part of the Master of the Rings. There has been a new change on the basis of the magic missile. I call it the Arcane Missile, Zai Wei explained with a smile. Arcane? What is this? Yang was the first to hear about the term. Arcane is the new name after the evolution of magic from occultism to a science. We will fully understand the source of magic, and all the transformations, laws, and mysteries. The magic can be called arcane. He did not hesitate to throw his own theory. Is the arcane so amazing? Yang's eyes became brighter. Yes, this is also the way I want to go. On the magic road, we have no leader, everything needs us to study and comprehend. Yang, you are a very talented young man in this respect. I hope after solving Gatlin, build a real magic school in the tower and train a good arcane master. I hope you can help me achieve this ideal. This ideal sounds cool, isn't it? I think I am also very interested. Yang Yu took a cobblestone and slammed his arm and threw it far away. The pebbles hit 7 or 8 rotations on the water. Flying out a full 50 or 60 meters, this is unwilling to sink into the sea. On the right index finger of Ziwei, the light silver light shone again. His hands swiftly crossed in the air. After a while, a pale silver spell model floated in front of Yang. Yang Mu looked at the silver brilliance in front of him until it slowly dissipated. Remember? I have never forgotten. Yang knocked on his skull, and he was full of confidence and confidence. This spell model is the final version determined by Ziwei after 3 days of deduction. It can be said that mastering this spell is not so difficult for Yang. Yang closed his eyes and digested the information he had just obtained to prepare for the exhibition of arcane missiles. 11 Wei lay down on the beach, blowing the cool sea breeze, letting his thoughts spread out. In 2 days, Yang will face Gatlin. This is the best time. But I didn't break through the Master of the Rings. I always felt that I was not so good. Inscribed in the soul of the spell model, how to do it? To say that you have been able to do the arcane missiles, you can do it without any mistakes, but there is still a long way to go from the soul. At the same time, the Zero Incarnation cat is running on the beach. She is as light as a feather, leaving no footprints at all, like a happy elf. Ziwei's mouth couldn't help but smile. After combining the singular cat summoned from the astral world, she is more and more like a cat. I don't know if this is inscribed in. The inspiration of the flame suddenly sprayed. Ziwei was keenly aware that he had discovered the key to the matter. 11 Wei took a deep breath and slid himself down on the beach in a soothing shape. He sinks his consciousness into the heart of the lake, and the subconscious mind controls the body. Thanks to the opportunity of the tides of the past few days, after the consciousness of Ziwei sneaked into the heart of the lake, he could also make a vague influence on the subconscious. This time, as if his own instinct is instinct, the tidal magic in his heart lake is slowly spurred, and the tide is getting more and more fierce, as if a storm is gestating. Yang Benlei is comprehending the analysis of the spell model provided by Ziwei, but he was suddenly alarmed by the magic changes around him. Yang Yu opened his eyes and found that Ziwei had been lying on the ground. The magical elements in the air seemed to be swallowed by the whales, and he was quickly investing in his eyebrows. This process lasts not only for a moment, but for a gradual change. Gradually, the magical elements around Ziwei are getting thicker and thicker, and the air has begun to seep out colorful spots. It is the symbol of the magical elements. Yang knows that Ziwei is undergoing some kind of change, but he does not dare to disturb, can only stay away, walk 10 meters away, and then looked at the changes in Ziwei with a look of worrying attention. At this time, the hard lake of Ziwei has completely turned into a paradise of storms. This time it is not a simulated scene, but a real occurrence. This kind of violence is very dangerous, and it is easy to make a person become a real nerd. However, Ziwei's consciousness has sunk. At this moment, he can only be a spectator, and he is manipulated by the subconscious. The storm is over. The storm of the tides in the heart of the lake has already surged to the extreme, and the magical elements around the west dimension are also full of extremes, and the colorful blooms on him. The next moment, as if the magnificent movement has reached the final resounding, the almost infinite magic has raised the waves, all the magic elements are filled into the heart of the West Lake. These magic elements have been 10 times the capacity of the West Lake, seeing that Ziwei's heart lake is about to burst. However, at this time, the magical tide of the Pentium seems to be manipulated by the body instinct, and gradually becomes a mysterious and beautiful spell model above the heart lake. This is the spell model of the arcane missile. It seems that the bee swarm smells the flowers as if the wolves saw the prey. The magical elements in the West Lake are far beyond the magical elements that fit the line. The magic model is not to be rejected, and all these colorful magic elements are absorbed on themselves, gradually emitting a bright silver light. The energy on the spell model is getting stronger and stronger, and the light is getting brighter and brighter. It is like a bright moon hanging in the sky, illuminating thousands of miles. The magic elements that are crowded into the heart of the lake and are more than 10 times the capacity limit are all absorbed by this round of Minjiu. At this moment, Minjiu begins to rotate. Ziwei's consciousness clearly felt the change of Xinhu. The barriers in the heart lake began to shrink and began to collapse. Nothing can be violated, no way to stop. After a while, all of everything, including the consciousness of Ziwei, was inhaled by this round of the moon. Ziwei no longer has the distinction between consciousness and subconsciousness. At this moment, he completely integrated into a whole. It seems to have returned to the original one, and everything is one. I don't know how long it has been, this round of silver moon has also been compressed to the ultimate silver spot. The next moment, the light shines, the sky opens. With the thunder of the thunder, the new heart lake of Ziwei is suddenly formed. This time, the barrier of the heart lake is no longer the original black, but the dazzling silver. Ziwei's new heart lake has been expanded 10 times, and the soul seems to have been sublimated once, and the body has also broken a layer of shackles. The next moment, Ziwei's eyes opened. Welcome to the readers to read. The latest, fastest, most popular serial works are available at mobile users. Please read. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 54. An eye-opener, a cat with a blue-purple pupil, is looking at Ziwei with a worried look. 11 Wei jumped up and held Zero in his arms, his face showing a confident and happy smile. Zero and Westway, a telepathy, learned all the changes from Ziwei here. She no longer worried. The taste of Ziwei seems to have become much better, full of vitality, which makes her reluctant to snuggle in Ziwei's arms. All right, Yang finally couldn't help but speak. I am in the best state ever, Ziwei asked with a smile. Look at what changes I have now. Yang Zi carefully looked at Ziwei all over again, and said, it seems that it is more handsome. The ears are also a little longer. 11 Wei quickly made a hand and touched his ear. The top of the oracle was really sharp. Don't touch it, your ears are 0.543 centimeters long, Zero told him the exact data. Please call me, the magician Ziwei. Ziwei smiled smugly. You are promoted to the magician, although Yang, who had just watched a magical element that was enough to blast a magic apprentice 10 times, poured into Ziwei's body and fell into a calm. Yang Xinzong had already had speculation. But at the moment it was confirmed, or let him have some shock and loss. But soon he adjusted his mood, and the success of Ziwei did not prove that there is still a road ahead. And the power of the comrades is strong, and it is also very good news against Gatlin. About meditation, I wonder if you have your own opinion. After successfully promoting to the magician, Ziwei understands that his success is largely due to the tides and thoughts. If it is not the transformation of the heart of the lake, if the original heart of the lake, the influx of 10 times of magic has only one result, that is, the heart of the lake burst, become an idiot. Despite the previous foundation, this breakthrough is still extremely thrilling. It can only be said that Ziwei has indeed caught the skirt of the goddess of fortune and is able to perfectly advance to the magician. According to the book, the magic limit of a ring mage is 5 times that of a magic apprentice. The magic of a standard 0-ring spell is 1, so the magic limit of a ring mage is 100. Due to the tidal thoughts and perfect promotion, the upper limit of the magic power of Ziwei at this moment has reached 600. At this time, the magic tide of the Xinwei Xingxin Lake is only a shallow layer, and there is still a long way to go before it is full. The arcane missile spell has been fully integrated into the soul of Ziwei. It can be said that he can not only put his eyes closed, but also put it in sleep, and can cast it in the dead magic zone. I have tried a lot about meditation, but I can't get too much information. but I still can't start. Although Yang is a genius, but limited by the accumulation of knowledge, it is still impossible to create a new meditation door like Zaiwei. What Zaiwei does not know is that even on the mainland of Orient, the idea of tidal meditation, which can increase the ceiling and growth rate of 3 times of magic, is already considered to be a very deep meditation, and it is even more to create your own meditation. Only the glory of the magic master. After all, this touches the level of the heart lake and the origin of the soul. If you are not sure, no one will risk the heart of the lake and the soul to create a dream door. 11 Wei also taught Yang about the secrets of Chaoshan's thoughts. Since everyone's heart lake is completely unique, he wants to know that Yang's, Charlotte, and Meryl have their own ideas. How much is it? The idea of tidal meditation and a ring of arcane missiles have been given overnight, and Yang's attitude towards Zaiwei has become more and more contradictory. Is it a friend or a tutor? These two are the key to the rapid advancement of the West magic, and the uniqueness of the Zaiwei pressure box, so he did not ask for any return to teach himself. This kind of heart-to-heart attitude and the inconspicuous Gatlin comparison is even more the difference between angels and demons. Is there such a person as a mentor, and I would like to have a brilliant future than the future tower? This person of Zaiwei, the future of the future, can also be expected. Yang's heart has become heavy, but it is very fulfilling. Still returning to the tower by flying hooks, Charlotte and Meryl, who had been slumbering, still insisted on their return. Nothing unexpected, asked Zaiwei. Before half a magic time, I saw the black spots begin to move in the corridor of the tower, and walked through the 1st to 5th floors before returning. Meryl quickly replied. Edward Butler is on tour? Okay. It's late, you have to go back to rest, don't forget to meditate. Tomorrow at 12 o'clock, still here, we will not see you. Zaiwei waved his hand and signaled the end of the event. Wait a minute, I just discussed with Meryl, should we give our organization a name? Charlotte asked, a hot red eyebrow. Zaiwei's indulgence for a moment seems to have a formal organization. After all, these 3 people are in front of their own team. In the future, their own magic school needs a management team. This way, each person contributes a name. Everyone voted. Zaiwei proposed a way. Magic Research Society. Yang saw that the 2 girls did not speak, and first proposed their own plan. Agree. Disagree. Meryl and Charlotte spoke at the same time. Well, this is 2 votes. 1 vote abstained, 1 vote against. In the standby, is there better? Zaiwei turned his attention to Charlotte. After all, is her suggestion. I think, how about the 4 beautiful women? Charlotte looked at the 3-year-old look and proposed his own plan. No. It's too bad, Meryl was the first to object. This beauty is not a little suitable. Yang cannot afford this. Is a vote to agree, 1 vote abstained, 2 votes against. Zaiwei Clapper, next. That's true, why can't you call the 4 beautiful people? I just found everyone to have something in common. Charlotte pleaded with excuses. Meryl, dear, what do you think? I think, called a secret hut. How? Meryl squinted and thought for a long time. Agree. Yes, Yang and Zaiwei expressed their attitudes. This is the first time that Zaiwei has expressed his position. Meryl's plan has won 3 votes in a flash, and there is no suspense in winning the championship. Charlotte's eyes turned. This is not right. Zaiwei has not yet proposed his own plan. Zaiwei had no choice but to smash his forehead. The woman of Charlotte was really, the little girl's vinegar had to be eaten, and Meryl's limelight had to be fought. It's really impossible to take her. Phoenix, how? Phoenix? Very good. In the legend of my hometown, Phoenix is a symbol of high morality. Yang nodded. No dead bird? Resurrection of the fire? Very good meaning. I like it. Charlotte raised his hands and agreed. Xavier's thoughts are very good. I agree, Meryl is not far behind. You're a little follower, your brother Siv's fart is fragrant, Charlotte hated and pointed Meryl's head with his index finger. Well, our organization name is called Phoenix Club. The purpose is to overthrow Gatlin's dark rule and build a real magic school in the tower. Ziwei concluded his speech and announced the end of the rally. Again, welcome to the book, friends. To visit, the latest, fastest, most popular serial works are available at mobile phone users. Please read. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 55. Back in my room, Ziwei took the time to take stock of the harvest. 0. Can I detect my current state of the body? Strength 1.12, Agility 1.34, Endurance 1.21, Magic total 67. Compared with the tests that Ziwei has just summoned, the magic pet, the strength, agility, and endurance have increased a little, exceeding the standard of a normal adult, and the total amount of magic has reached a new height. However, the total amount of magic of 67 is relatively large, and there is still a lot of room for improvement. Ziwei seized the time to enter the state of meditation, and the thoughts of the tides and meditations automatically operated, and the waves in the heart of the lake renewed. On the second day of the breakfast, the Phoenix Society did not attend without exception, and there were only 3 people left in the high-end apprentice dining room. Ed said with some irritability, "What happened recently?" Charlotte has long since disappeared after being treated as an experimental assistant by Gatlin's tutor. Yang has become proud after being promoted to a magician too. Yesterday, I told him to hold a celebration party. I refused to hesitate without hesitation. Today, even Ziwei and Meryl are gone. What happened? There is also some gloom in Fa-Wei's eyes. I always feel what they are doing, and it seems that something is glaring at us. Is it because we don't have the talent to become a magician? People don't plan to deal with us in the future. Lyndon also came over. This is very likely. Yang and Charlotte will be promoted to the magician. Ziwei and Meryl are also magical geniuses. We are not the mortals of the magician before the age of 20, of course, people are not in the eye. Fa-Wei analyzed. Genius fart. If Charlotte is not squatting with Palin, can she improve so fast? Before Palin, she often used it with excellent apprentices. Recently, Palin has gone, not yet hooked up. A few of Yang and Ziwei. Now it's even worse. Even Gatlin's mentor has been used by her. Some of the maddening Ida couldn't help but attack. This is also the skill. Who makes us not a big beauty, Fa-Wei said as he swayed his fat body, and finally threw a wink, and instantly made Lyndon and Ed disgusted. Charlotte can succeed in this position. It is not the ANN affinity agent provided by Gatlin's mentor. Gatlin's mentor is the owner of the tower. If we want to succeed, we must let Gatlin's mentor appreciate us. Ade's eyes dribbled, completely ignoring Charlotte's apprenticeship spell against the championship. The tower has been established for so many years, and the Gatlin mentor has always been like this. For those who are not partial to help, all rely on their own efforts. Fa-Wei scratched his head. Who said this? This magic test, have you noticed the Austrian instrument in the hands of Gatlin's mentor? Ed said. Is it a transparent crystal in his hand? What happened? Hey, I have observed it carefully. This Austrian instrument has not responded at all. It only shines when the 2 people of Ziwei and Yang perform the magic test. Especially Yang, in the second half of his test, the Austrian instrument is almost full. Light up, Ed throws his own discovery. You mean, Lyndon and Fa-Wei all came to the spirit, tightly close to Ed. Obviously, Gatlin's mentor has a preference for apprentices. He used this instrument to help Ziwei and Yang restore their magic. Otherwise, Yang's last test was only 17 standard magics. How could it be increased by 3 in a month? Magic is even more impossible. Can be promoted to the magician as soon as possible. Who will hide? Ed hated hate. What should we do then? At this hearing, Lyndon and Fa-Wei were somewhat discouraged, and they clearly agreed with Ed's point of view. We have no choice but to take Yang. He will soon be promoted to the magician. But Ziwei, he has just become a high-level magic apprentice. Why did he climb to us? We must find his problem and tell him. Shape, Ed bites his teeth. He was originally the youngest high-level magic apprentice in the tower, and he has always had a bright and ambitious future. However, when Ziwei advanced, it seems that all the light in his body was stolen by Ziwei. He is more handsome, more popular with girls, and his magic is growing fast. He can also create strong zero-ring magic. This is not very good, it seems to be somewhat immoral. Faowei was hesitant. Hey, then you wait for Ziwei to be promoted to the magician in the future, but you are driven out of the tower. The fear of being driven out of the tower quickly enveloped Faowei and allowed him to accept Ed's plan. Without the suspicion of being unfair, the atmosphere of the high tower apprentices was completely gone. 11 Wei did not notice the plot of the three apprentices, because the Zero at this moment had left the tower and once again sneaked into the arcane crystal vein. This is the armament prepared by Ziwei for the battle of the next day. With the current magic of Ziwei, only 5 or 6 times of arcane missiles can be used. In the face of Gatling, there is always a lack of confidence. Trying to extract the arcane crystal mine is a helpless attempt. If it succeeds, it will greatly improve its combat effectiveness. Throughout the day, Charlotte was surrounded by Gatlin. Yang did not study the tide of the earth and arcane missiles. Ziwei was optimizing the arcane missiles. Meryl closely monitored the live model. At the same time, I am also trying to tide the tide. The red sun was slanting, the silver moon was hanging high, the tower was gradually falling into silence, and it took a long time to finally reach the 12th magic time at midnight. The 4 members of the Order of the Phoenix once again gathered in the laboratory of Ziwei. What are the gains today? Everyone in Ziwei's enthusiasm asked afterwards. The idea of tidal meditation has been mastered, very good, but a little bit fits with me. I have converted nearly half now, and the current magic growth rate has probably doubled. If it can completely transform the Heart Lake, the magic limit should be 5. 10 standard magic. Yang first opened his mouth and had a big smile on his face. It can be seen that he is in a good mood. I already have a brow. Just started to transform, the current magic growth rate is increased by half, the magic limit cannot be seen, Meryl said his situation. Don't look at me, I don't have the genius like you, I don't have any clues. And the tide seemed to be somewhat different from me. At first I try to be upset and calm down, Charlotte, a pair of hands, said helplessly. This is my own imaginary door. It is completely compatible with me, but although it has improved, but the impact is different. Maybe you will need to create your own thoughts in the future, Ziwei nodded, sure enough. The idea of tidal meditation is not likely to increase everyone's magic growth rate and magic limit by 3 times. Charlotte, what's the harvest today? Ziwei asked. Gatlin mysterious, I can't touch a lot of things, but I smelled the devil's breath in the experimental materials he prepared. Devil's breath? It seems that the blood of the devil that was provided to you last time is not accidental. There should be some connection between Gatlin and the Abyss demons. The devil has always been linked to the taboo test and the soul. Can you sense the type of demons? Charlotte is now a warlock who awakens the blood of the demon in the body. He has a deeper understanding of the devil's knowledge than others, and is also an expert in the devil problem in the Order of the Phoenix. I am sorry, my blood has just awakened, there is no way at the moment. Charlotte could only shake his head. This is a point to pay attention to. I have to leave the tower tonight. Yang, do you need to go out? I want to practice the arcane missiles. After all, this spell has enough lethality, Yang said. Very good, then I am going out with Yang. You two are paying attention to safety. Welcome to the readers to read. The latest, fastest and hottest serials are available at mobile users. Please read. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 56. Still on the edge of the coast, Yang began experimenting with the arcane missile. This time, Zai Wei opened a certain distance with Yang La. He intends to pray again to Ms Yin Lu, who is going to get a one-on-one ring of Ilana. Ms Silver Moon is on, please listen to my soul. I will melt into nature, let go of everything, and come to the other side of the dream. Zai Wei clearly perceives that he is once again noticed by the goddess Iluna. What is the other side of the dream? It is a garden of green grass. It is a rich and dense jungle. It is a village filled with nature and full of artistic atmosphere. It is a silver moon with a starry sky. It was like a glimpse of the glimpse, and I saw the place where the elves gathered. In the end, there was only a silvery moon in the heart. Zai Wei was awakened by Yang's call. Zai Wei, we have come out more than one magic time, it's time to return. Once again, Zai Wei felt a sense of tranquility and detachment after the practice. This is a very unforgettable feeling. His perception of nature and the elements of magic has been significantly improved. A brand new ring spell has been engraved in his soul, which is the blessing spell of Ilana, the silver moon. Filled with the swift attack of the silver moon, you can interrupt the enemy's spell casting and silence the enemy, which can cause a lot of damage to the undead, demons, and spirits. On the eve of the war, this spell can be described as a timely rain, combined with the process of two Elena blessings. Have you been focused on this mysterious and powerful Ms Yunyu? Zai Wei did not think much about it. The realm of the gods was too high, but Ms Yunyu should be not malicious. Whether it is a blessing or a curse, there will be a distinction in the future. What 11 Wei did not know, the originally calm tower, has already set off waves. After the discussion, the three people began to focus on the traces of Zai Wei. Unfortunately, Zai Wei had almost no appearances in the laboratory every day, which made Fa Wei and Linden very disappointing. Only Ed had a sigh of relief in his heart. Even in the middle of the night, he bit his teeth and refused to give up. He did not rest, but stared at Zai Wei's laboratory. Even more coincidentally, in order to conceal, Ed did not wear the magic robe in the weekdays, but changed into a tighter and concealed clothes, so that he did not record his whereabouts in the live model. Ed's whole body huddled in the shadow of the corner. He didn't know what he was doing, and he didn't know why he was doing it, but his heart seemed to have a flame burning, and he insisted that he didn't give up. Until the 12th magic at midnight, when the new day was about to begin, he blinked, as if he could not believe what he saw. The door to the laboratory of Zai Wei opened, and Meryl went in. Yang Jin went, and Charlotte, who had a cloak but a long red hair, went in. What are they doing? Ed really wants to rush in and ask questions, but he resists. He is staring at the grassy wolf and wants to see when they will come out. However, after half a magic, there was a gentle footstep in the corridor, and Edward Butler took a faint magical light and walked up to start a routine tour. Who is it? What are you doing here? Ed was hidden in the hidden corner, but was illuminated by Edward's lights. I am Ed. Ed quickly got up. Why are you still not sleeping so late? The Edwardian housekeeper was so harsh that the dim light hit his face, and it looked cloudy and horrible. I saw Yang, Charlotte, Meryl, and several of them entered the laboratory of Zai Wei, and they have not come out, Ade said with a sigh of relief, and said all the scenes he saw. Is it? Butler Edward let go of Ed, and went outside the laboratory door of Zai Wei, and knocked it up. After discovering that the black spots representing Edward began to move, Meryl and Charlotte stopped chatting, holding their breath and waiting for the end of the routine tour. However, this time, the black spots suddenly stopped not far away. Charlotte blessed to the soul, and quickly picked up the live tower model in front of him and hid it in the corner cabinet. Zai Wei has an organ on the model. After pressing it, all the live points disappear, and it looks like an ordinary high tower model. Just then, the knock on the door sounded. Charlotte's index finger on the lip signaled Meryl not to talk, then got up and opened the door. Edward didn't expect the door to open so quickly. He came in with the magic light in his hand and found that there were only 2 girls in the room. I received a report saying that there are 4 people in the room. Where is Yang and Ziwei? Edward asked. 4 people? Where? There is only me and Meryl. Charlotte smiled and looked surprised. You lie. I saw that Ziwei had not come out after dinner, and Yang had just entered before half a magic. Ed emerged from behind Edward. Charlotte glanced at Ed. The scarlet pupil was full of warnings. For the first time, Ed was seen after Charlotte became the abyssal Konjak. This horrible face and the more horrible eyes scared him back 3 steps and couldn't speak for a long time. Here is the laboratory of Ziwei. Why did you and Meryl appear here? Edward did not seem to see Ed's performance continue to ask plainly. Some of us are good friends. I often come here to play together. Is it a small meeting room? Ziwei specially leaves the key for me, Charlotte said, shaking his hand on the finger and giving it to her. The string of laboratory keys. You can check the bedroom of Yang and Ziwei, they are definitely not there, Ed returned and shouted wildly. He knows that this time he has been offended by Charlotte and others. If you can't hold the thighs of Edward and Gatlin, there is absolutely no good fruit to eat. Very good, the tower is not allowed to stay at night. Charlotte, Meryl, for the first time, and on the basis of high-level magic apprentices, just give a warning. Now, you hurry back. Dormitory sleeps. Edward's old-fashioned face squeezed a dry smile. The time of the high-level magic apprentices is obviously much free. Sometimes it is common to experiment and do more. It is not a good thing to miss such a break. Okay, let's go. Charlira, who was sitting on the stool and still refused to get up, went out of the laboratory at Ziwei. But Edward didn't mean to leave. Charlotte looked at it and could only say so. You are sure that you are not mistaken? When the 2 girls were young, Edward dropped a word. I swear by my life. Ida raised his right hand over his head, sweating all over his head. So good. Come see me. These 2 people are not in the dormitory. Edward took the magic light and strode out of the lab. Welcome to the book, friends. To visit the latest, fastest, most fire serials are available at mobile users. Please read Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 57. At this time, Charlotte and Meryl can be said to be in a hurry, but there is no way to inform Ziwei. They helplessly return to their rooms, pray that things will not slip to the worst place. Hey, the dull knocking of the door echoed in the corridor, but it didn't get a response for a long time. Edward pulled out the spare key and inserted Yang's bedroom door. The door was pushed open and there was no one inside. I didn't lie, Mr. Edward. They have a few together, there must be a conspiracy, confirmed his innocence, Ida shouted excitedly. In the eyes of Edward, the cold light flashed. He did not respond to Ed's call and went to Ziwei's bedroom. Hey, the dull voice rang again, and Ed's face was excited, and he was eager to see the scene where Ziwei was not there. In this way, Yang and Ziwei must have left the tower. This is the iron law of the tower. All apprentices are never allowed to leave the tower. He has already imagined the tragic situation when Yang and Ziwei were interrogated and punished by Gatlin's mentor. However, at this moment, the door opened from the inside. Ziwei opened the door and asked inexplicably, Mr. Edward? Is there anything? Through the doorway, in the hut with the faint yellow magic light, Yang is sitting at the square table, his right hand is holding his chin, and he is thinking about it. He has a chessboard and various pieces in front of him. Obviously they are 2. I was playing chess late at night. The 2 teacups on the table are still smoky, suggesting that everyone has their temperature. Nothing, it's already late, take a break early, Edward gave a word for a long time. Okay, let's end this game right away, Ziwei smiled politely. But Yang Sueshang is about to leave the tower. I don't know how long it will take to meet again. I still hope to have a few more wonderful things with him. Chess game. As if I didn't see Ed's side around Edward, Ziwei closed the dormitory door. Yang Changjia breathed a sigh of relief and said, "It's really a surprise, but fortunately, you found it wrong in time." When the organ on the high tower live point model is pressed, it not only can eliminate the live point, but also give Ziwei an alarm. At this time, Ziwei and Yang Ganghao had already returned to the high tower. Ziwei, who had incorporated the shadow, took Yang to the window of his room and quickly forged the scene where he was playing chess. The hot water in the 2 teacups is the result of Saiwito heating the elements in the palm of the hand, which takes less than half a minute. How do you explain your words? Edward looked gloomy and not angry. I can really swear. I saw it with my own eyes. Ed had been so scared that he was sweating all over, and he didn't know why he would screw things up. Edward thought for a moment, and then slowly opened up. I will arrange for you to see Gatlin's mentor tomorrow morning. Let him verify if you are lying. Now, go to sleep. Thank you very much. I believe that the great Gatlin instructor will be able to debunk the tricks of Ziwei and prove my loyalty and reliability. Ed is grateful. I didn't expect that things would be bad in Ed's hands. This is also my thoughts. My magic pet is not in the tower, and Ed just didn't wear his magic robe. Ziwei said with tea. What will happen to this incident? Yang asked. The key is to see what Gatlin thinks. If he wants to use the title, there will always be a way. Our actions have been exposed, although they have not been found evidence. But the old man is always suspicious. With the nature of Gatlin, I am afraid I won't let it go. And my high tower live model is still in the lab now. It's already in Edward's hands. With Gatlin's magical rumors, it's not too long to discover the secret. At this time, the brain is clear and the deduction of things is not bad. After watching Ada walk back to the bedroom, Edward has returned to the laboratory of Ziwei, and turned into a sophisticated hunter, and as a shrewd detective, collected all the suspicious objects in the laboratory, including of course all made of crystal. The tall tower model. What should we do? Yang was anxious. My preparation has not been done to the fullest. I still need to wait a moment. It is late at night. Edward does not necessarily disturb Gartling's rest. But there is no doubt that we must first be strong. It is set at dawn. Now. What you have to do now is to hurry and meditate to restore the magic. The timing of Ziwei's waiting is undoubtedly the time when zero-bearing arcane crystal is returned. Yang just experimented with arcane missile spells on the beach and has already consumed 78,000. He knew that the situation was urgent, and he did not say anything, closed his eyes and raised his spirits, and began routine meditation. After some noisy, the tower was once again in silence. Through the communication technique, Ziwei communicated with Meryl and Charlotte respectively, first telling them the status quo, calming down the girl who was so anxious, and then telling them that the uprising must be launched in advance. After forcing the two girls to perform routine meditation to restore the magic of daytime consumption, Ziwei leaned on the windowsill and looked at the dark and calm night outside, but the brain was already systematically deducing the possible situation and how to arrange the dawn moment. The upcoming uprising aimed to overthrow the dark magician Gatlin. When time passed another magic, a figure suddenly jumped in from the window and threw himself into the arms of Ziwei. Ziwei adults, this time, it is a mission. Rolling one after another to the bed, stretching out the right front paw, squatting in the soft hair on his chest, 1, 2, 3. For a while, there are 7 or 8 different arcane crystals falling on the soft quilt. These 7 or 8 arcane crystals are as big as a fist, and small also have the size of a table tennis. In terms of weight, it has reached the half-month production of the arcane crystal mine on the island. These are all carefully selected and then excavated from the ground one by one, and then hidden in the body. These arcane crystals are stacked together and are almost as large as zero. Love and pity touched the soft hair. Ziwei said gratefully, "It's really hard for you, my little baby. Come on, knock down the Gatling Great Devil. The winner wins. The Westway adults will win." Zero stood up, two furry front paws lifted high, a look of solemn and mighty look. At the corner of Ziwei's mouth, the oppressive and heavy atmosphere in the cabin dissipated with the wind. At this time, the rest of the Phoenix Club were in meditation, and Ziwei did not waste time and began processing the arcane crystal. Arcane crystal is the most suitable magic storage crystal on the continent of Orient. The arcane crystals that are recovered from zero are crystals with very high purity. The powerful magic of the inner Ziwei can be clearly perceived. If you can excite the magic, that is, use the least efficient way, it can also cause an energy burst equivalent to about 200 to 500 magic. This is equivalent to the power of a 3-ring spell. I don't know which one is better than the most famous fireball in the 3-ring spell. However, it is very dangerous to draw energy from this arcane crystal. The energy purity is much higher than the turquoise and meteorites that Ziwei used. The energy after extraction is also extremely powerful and pure. There is no small pressure. This is equivalent to holding a powerful bomb in the hand, a careless weapon that is not the enemy to win. Become a tool to bury your own. Welcome all books to visit, the latest, fastest, the most popular serial works are available at mobile users. Please read. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 58. Ziwei's hands move like a butterfly in a flying motion. In his hand, an arcane crystal begins to transform. The originally stable magical energy is activated by the way of capture, just as the dormant volcano becomes impending. Active volcanoes are common. 1, 2, 3. This job is tantamount to dancing on the tip of the knife, and the whole room will be blown into ruins. Even with the strong hand-eye coordination and precise control of Ziwei, after the transformation of the 5 arcane crystals, the brain still had a strong exhaustion and discomfort. The remaining 3 arcane crystals are too large, and the energy contained in them is far beyond the current control of Ziwei, and can only be temporarily abandoned. At this time, Ziwei's spirit was a bit wilting, but because of the excessive amount of pure magical elements, the heart of the lake was very excited, and the body was in a subtle state, which was on the verge of a booming explosion. The night in early summer is the shortest in a year. It didn't take long before the horizon was already stained with the first light. Ziwei awakened the remaining 3 members of the Order of the Phoenix through interrogation and began to prepare for the final battle. "Is this?" Yang looked curiously at Ziwei's table, and after processing it was filled with crystal clear crystal arcane crystals. "In the final of the apprentice spell contest, you have personally experienced it? But that time is just a turquoise stone, this time it is a high purity arcane crystal. These cute little baby is the secret of our victory. Ziwei, can you give me one?" Yang Sasuo for a moment, still made up his mind. "No, activation of arcane crystal requires a lot of magic and control. Even if I do it as a formal magician, it is very dangerous. You can't manipulate this." Ziwei did not hesitate to stop Yang's thoughts. "Yes, I know. But Gatlin is an evil mage who has been implicated in the devil. Maybe there are some means that can make people want to survive and can't die. I think, with this, you can also give me an insurance." Yang squeezed a bitter smile. Ziwei was silent. He took a few round trips on the narrow aisle in the room. This gave a processed arcane crystal to Yang. "I hope it is best not to use it. I will tell you the activation method also, don't tell Charlotte and Meryl." Yang Zhenzhong took over the bright and shining crystal, hidden in the pocket inside the body, reassured, "I still want to live well. Edward is on the move. He is going upstairs," Ziwei suddenly said, "action is ready to begin." There is only one person on the 6th floor of the tower, and that is the master of the tower, Gatlin. And between the 5-story round hall and the 6th floor of the tower, there is a gate that is sealed with magical prohibition. Only Gatlin can open it. Apprentices have no knowledge of this mysterious ban, so they can only wait for Gatlin to open its own time. The old man's sleep time is always very short. Gatlin is awake at sunrise almost every day, no exception, and this is the time for Edward to go to the 6th floor of the tower. Edward passed the 4th floor of the tower and called Ida, who had barely slept for almost a night, stepping on a higher level of stairs, and the ticking of the cane against the ground was getting farther and farther. The 4 Fendu clubs, already prepared, appeared in the empty corridor. When the 6-story gate of the tower is opened, we will focus on attacking Edward and be sure to knock him down, Ziwei whispered softly, and several others nodded silently, with a nervous and excited look on the face. The respected Gatlin master, there was a change in the apprenticeship last night. I want to report it to you. Edward stood in front of the 6-story gate of the closed tower, and Ed was stupidly holding the tower. Standing behind him. Oh? Which apprentices have changed? I am washing, you are coming, Gatlin's old voice sounded, and then the 6-story door that was closed tightly opened. It's the moment, 4 people from the Phoenix, who had blessed the blast, quickly picked up the ranks and followed the Edwards and Ida to the 6th floor of the tower. They just rushed in, and the 6-story door was closed again. The closed door seems to completely separate the two worlds. The Order of the Phoenix has already broken the boat and there is no way out. How come you are here? What do you want to do? Rebel, seeing this scene, Edward had to be arrogant and glaring. Yes. Gatlin, the demons who use the apprentices to conduct taboo tests, will die soon. The shadows over the towers will eventually dissipate, and the towers will usher in a new glory. The spell that has been engraved with the arcane missile spell in the soul has no need for a spell at all, so he announced the swearing of the enemy by the way. Strong vertigo, Charlotte's spell first fell on Edward's body, his body slammed. Then, a bright silver radiance emerged from the tip of the Westway finger, it is the long-awaited arcane missile. The two are only 3 meters apart, and the arcane missile hit Edward at almost the moment of launch. As in the case of defeating the leather, Edward's chest was pierced with a big mouth visible to the naked eye, flesh and blood. However, Ziwei not only did not stop but did not hesitate to display the second arcane missile. Ziwei's research on the arcane missile has not been stagnant. After all, this is his best tool at the moment. After his research, it simplifies the process of casting the arcane missile. It can be used while the first arcane missile is being cast. 2 arcane missile energy, so the interval of continuous casting is greatly reduced. The second arcane missile, like the arrow of the string, went straight to Edward's head. This bright silver light penetrated Edward's left eye without mercy, and shot straight into his brain. The normal human heart and brain are subjected to such terrible attacks, and those who are already dead can no longer die. Fast back, Ziwei screamed. The 3 members of the Order of the Phoenix responded very quickly and quickly withdrew, and Ed was hiding behind a pillar in the first moment of the conflict. Ah, with the horrible roar, the next moment of sudden change happened. The skin and flesh of Edward, who was already dead and could not die, broke apart, and a strong and horrible demon got out of his body. Damn ants! You broke the master's great experiment and interrupted my evolution. The devil's mouth was dripping with stinky pus. His horrible monocular eyes looked at a few people, and his eyes were full of tyranny. Ed's eyes are out of sight, and he is soft on the ground. What is going on? The original Edward Stewart, who was originally responsible, turned out to be a horrible demon? At this moment, he had to start to doubt, is it true that Gatlin's mentor is exactly like Ziwei said, a demon who takes the apprentice's life as a taboo test? Welcome to the readers to read. The latest and fastest, the most popular serial works are available at mobile users. Please read. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 59. After turning into a demon, Edward's height is 2 meters 5. His 2 forearms are thick and large, and Kongwu is powerful. However, his first move was to bend down and suddenly opened his mouth. Hold your ears. At the same time as Ziwei shouted, the ice mirror that began to condense at the same time as Edward turned out was already in front of him. In addition to the magic of learning by Ziwei, in addition to the weak element resistance, a zero-ring spell that has little effect on the demon, the strongest defensive magic should be ice mirroring. This spell can effectively rebound the enemy's energy attack, so Westway began preparing for this spell the first time after he realized that Edward had not died. Hey! The deafening roar echoed on the 6th floor of the tower, and the murals hanging on the wall began to tremble. Ada, who had not responded, was fainted in the first place. The 3 phoenixes of the Order of the Phoenix quickly caught their ears. However, they were as if they had been ringing the giant clock in their ears, and they lost their hearing in an instant, turning around and almost standing. Only Zero helped Ziwei to close the hearing. At this moment, he was unscathed, and the green liquid ejected from the devil's mouth had already gone straight to Ziwei. The ice mirror directly blocks the green liquid, which has high temperature and strong corrosiveness. In a moment, the ice mirror summoned by Ziwei corrodes a number of holes. Even with the ability of Devil Edward, the body has stagnated for a while after completing this bang and squirting. At this moment, from 3 directions, 3 magics are ready, and the Devil Edward is sprayed out. It is Charlotte's Flame Ball and the arcane missiles of Yang and Ziwei. 3 magical spells with powerful energy hit Edward's body at the same time, leaving him with a scar of different depths, but he could easily destroy a common human flame ball but could not even penetrate his skin. The arcane missiles only left a narrow perforation on him, but for the devil's powerful vitality, it is nothing at all. His flame resistance is very high. Use Enhanced Ice Ray, Ziwei shouted. Strengthening the Frozen Ray, a strong zero-loop spell, the Phoenix Society can be said to be very skilled, and the casting time is compressed to almost the instant under the guidance of Ziwei. Then 4 snow and ice torrents came out and hit Devil Edward in the middle of the hall. Although it was only a strong zero-ring spell, this attack obviously worked. The devil's skin condensed a large piece of frost, and his entire body movements slowed down. Not enough. This energy intensity is not enough to kill Edward. Ziwei made a decision between the moments, and Zero also quietly jumped out from the heart of Ziwei. Hey ants! You are so hateful. Devil Edward struggled to drive the flames inside the body, warming up the almost frozen body, and the large pieces of ice and snow melted and fell from him. Let you see the real power. Devil Edward's monologue burst into a scarlet light, his mouth opened again. It is now, Ziwei shouted. A petite figure suddenly jumped to Edward's mouth, a wave of front paws, a crystal shining arcane crystal accurately into the mouth of the devil, through its throat directly into his abdomen. After completing this thrilling action, he quickly broke into the shadow plane again, and Edward's thick and powerful forearm wiped her after image. Devil Edward has agility far beyond the ordinary people. 11 Wei stood up and stood in the mouth, chanting the spell of the arcane crystal. Peng, a dull and strong explosion suddenly sounded, and the earth began to tremble as if the earthquake was erupting. Devil Edward's abdomen suddenly blasted, large demons fluttering, and bright white light bursting in his heart. Ziwei was calm, and it was an arcane missile that spurted out and directly entered the huge monolith of Devil Edward's tilting body. The next moment, the broken eyes, Edward's huge body collapsed, splashing a piece of smoke. Gatlin Master, I do my best. After the old wailing, the Devil Edward did not move. 4 people from the Order of the Phoenix entered the 6th floor of the tower and died completely to Edward. 1 minute and a half were shared. You killed my most loyal servant. You all have to die. Gatlin appeared on the other side of the hall. He wore a black magic robe full of body, a purple mage cap on his head, and a handful of long walnut wood on his left. The top of the ground is inlaid with a magic wand with arcane crystal, and the right hand holds a magic book with a cover that is a strange red goat's head. His face was blue, and he did not think that his loyal servant Edward would die in the hands of a few small magic apprentices so quickly. We don't have to resist, we have to die, aren't we? Yang smiled coldly, staring at Gatlin without hesitation, his eyes full of cold and endless hatred. Very good, Yang, Charlotte, Ziwei, and Meryl, are you four united? I am really a good student, I can make such a big thing in my eyes. Gatlin looked like a crazy laugh, ha ha ha, unfortunately, everything is late. My experiment has reached the end, and you, the last test piece. Ziwei stood up straight and prepared for the next arcane missile. When killing Edward, Ziwei used 4 rounds of arcane missiles. However, due to the magic in arcane crystal, a lot of magic remains in his. At Heart Lake, he still has about 40 standard magic powers, enough to release 4 arcane missile spells. Ziwei, you really gave me the biggest surprise. Since the establishment of the tower for 57 years, you are the first one to be able to take my promotion to the magician. Gatlin looked at the spurting of the hands of Ziwei. The missile did not dodge, and stood still. The arcane missiles are sprayed onto Gatlin's magic robe. However, the magical robe surface instantly reveals the mysterious magic runes. These runes absorb the energy of the arcane missile and dissipate it into the invisible. Only this level? This is not enough. How did you kill Edward? Gatlin sneered. Ziwei's brow wrinkles, and Gatlin's power is far beyond the level of the magic apprentice. Even a ring of arcane missiles can't break the protection of his magic robe surface, so that the rest of the Phoenix Club is almost completely not any effect. S.A.G.A. Gatlin sang a magic spell loudly, and this spell was not known to apprentices. The dark red light condenses at the top of the magic wand in his hand, which is obviously a powerful magic. 11 Wei quickly extended his hands, his left hand on the back of his right hand, bright silver between his eyes. Elena blesses the spell, Silver Moon Attack. A bright silver-like flying knife-like energy flew out from the right hand of Ziwei and went straight to Gatling. This bright silver light easily penetrated the magic robe, and the protective enchantment on the surface of the magic robe was completely unresponsive. The next moment, Gatlin attacked the silver moon, and Gatlin suddenly opened his mouth, but could not make any sound. The dark red light that he had condensed on top of the magic wand suddenly disappeared. After another 3 seconds, Gatlin snorted and his right hand caught his abdomen. Then he spit out a blood. Damn, I looked down on you. The dark red blood was spread on the head of the weird goat, and the goat's head became more and more red, as if it had come alive. Ziwei's heart is even more alarm bell. The silver moon attack will only have a silent effect on ordinary people, and only a lot of damage will be caused to the undead, the demon and the spirit body. Then Gatlin in front of you is no longer a common mage. Strong vertigo. Strengthen the frozen rays. The 2 spells were displayed by Charlotte and Yang respectively, but they were unable to break through the protective enchantment of Gatlin's magic robe. Gatlin suddenly opened the magic book, one of which was a red light, and horrible goat head suddenly emerged from the page and stood in the air. The next moment, the goat blinked, and 2 blood-red rays in the pupils locked in the west, and they spewed out. This is using magic items. The attack of Silver Moon cannot be silenced. This is a lock spell and can't dodge. Ziwei was thinking about it, but did not notice that a petite figure suddenly ran over and blocked him in front of him. It is Meryl. At the beginning of the battle Meryl found that she did not have any effect, and Edward, who turned into a demon, made her stun for a long time. After Gatlin's appearance, even the magic of Yang and Charlotte could not do anything. At present, The only hope of the Phoenix is Ziwei. Seeing this mysterious and horrible energy is about to hit Ziwei, Meryl has completely forgotten herself in this rush, and there is only one thought in her mind: I want to block it. When Meryl flew to the front of Ziwei, Ziwei reacted, and the scarlet energy had already ejected. No, Meryl, hard to resist this energy, has only one result, that is, death on the spot. When Ziwei reacted, his hands had already pushed Meryl over, and the scarlet energy wiped Meryl's hair and hit Ziwei. This happened between the electric and the flint. The scarlet energy kept jumping in the west, and the whole person in Ziwei seemed to have become a sculpture. It's really touching feelings, Gatlin sneered 2 times, SA. This time, the light at the top of the magic wand spurted out without a block. The whole person in Charlotte seemed to be caught by the net of energy. She struggled desperately in this energy net, but there was no way to break free. The next is you, my dear disciple, Yang. Gatlin stepped closer and sang a demonic whisper. Yang spurted an arcane missile to make the final struggle, but still failed to penetrate the enchantment of the surface of Gatling's magic robe. The next moment, Yang is completely stunned, and the scarlet light flashes in his eyes. Welcome to the readers to read. The latest, fastest and most popular serial works are available at users. Please go to read. Arcane Age. Author, Yulin Dudu. Chapter 60. It's a group of sad and stupid little guys. You don't even know how great my experiment is, Gatlin shouted excitedly after he took full control of the situation. People are ignorant, weak, and life is extremely short. Elf, dwarf, demon, dragon, which one is not longer than human life? Why are those older than my grandmother still dead later than me? Why is my lover Mayeva consuming a lot of vitality because of her teacher's stupid experiment, and finally died in front of the bed in pain? Gatlin became crazy and excited, he was already venting for decades. Emotion: when Miva is dying, I pray to the devil, I am willing to pay my price to save my lover Miva. Gatlin carefully caressed the dark blue necklace on his chest with an old hand. The top of the necklace is a blue mysterious gem with purple. The devil responded to my prayers. He put Miva's soul into this soul, and avoided her fate in the reincarnation of the river. And generously sponsored me to study and study how to extend the short life of the mortal. Now, my experiment is about to succeed. After my research, I can completely transform the life of other people and pass it on to the subject, although this spell needs to be completed by the converter, the promotion of the magician ceremony, a preliminary the evolution of the soul level, although this spell requires the subject to become a demon. But the ratio of life conversion is 5 to 1, and the upper limit is also very high. This is far beyond the efficiency of the devil contract. From then on, the longevity is no longer a dream for mankind. Immortal life, what a beautiful vocabulary. Gatlin vented his secret and his pride, and at this moment, he completely took off all the disguise. You are completely self-defeating. If the Church of the Glorious Lord knows about your actions, you will inevitably be purified, Charlotte shouted loudly. The Church of the Glorious Lord? The ignorant and greedy old guys? Haha, they are busy selling the redemption tokens and collecting the tithes in the world. How can we take care of my little mage? What's more, this is life is not dead. If my experiment lets those old guys in red know, I am afraid they will become their most distinguished guests. Gatlin laughed, as if he had heard a ridiculous joke. Well, I have no time to talk to you, I have to hurry and finish the final experiment. Yang, come over with me. Gatlin suddenly converges on the smile and makes a signal to Yang. Yang's sluggish body followed stiffly behind Gatlin and walked into the lab step by step. Damn. Ziwei, you wake up soon. Everything can only rely on you. Charlotte had intended to delay the time, but found that Gatlin was completely out of control. Ziwei has fallen into the most dangerous situation at this moment. He is facing the devil, the abyss demon who sponsored the Gatlin test. The heart lake of Zaiwei has been completely crushed by the demon, and it has become a broken small plain. The whole sky is a horror figure of the devil that is higher than the mountain. The demon has a horrible 100-meter-long giant wing with sharp-pointed claws. The demon has a strong and sturdy body. He wears an evil and flashing powerful magical armor. His eyes are only endless. The depths and sufferings. A small mortal, you are a unique one. This is just a small mark that I have left in the main material plane, but I have seen from your soul a brand that does not belong to this world. You have caused the great demon king attention. How do I call you? Under the demon's gaze, 11 Wei squeezed the sentence with the horror to the extreme pressure. You can call me Smart Forecast. Now, you have two choices, either let me finish the soul harvest, save your soul into the soul, as one of my precious treasures, either sign this contract with me. Devil King Folk has fingered, and a piece of parchment with a strong abyss appeared in front of Zaiwei. Although he did not understand the devil language, Zaiwei still understood the content of the contract on this parchment for the first time. Zaiwei needs to serve this smart forecast for 30 years, assisting Gatlin at the same time and secretly monitoring him. The reward for Zaiwei is to transform Zaiwei into a demon and give him a powerful force. Obviously, this smart forecast must have a long-term plan, and Gatlin's longevity experiment is only the first step. So how do you decide? Zaiwei is now just a small ring magician. Compared with the Demon King of the Abyss, it is simply the gap between the ants and the Milky Way. He is powerless to resist. What's more, his newly born Xinhu Lake has been trampled on by this demon, and the road to the magician of Zaiwei has not gone. Signing this seemingly fair devil contract, maybe you can survive in the cracks and embark on another path to the strong? However, Zaiwei did not think too much. Faced with this powerful and horrible demon, Zaiwei smiled and said, I am sorry to let you down, then please harvest my soul. The Demon King was furious. He had signed a demon contract with countless kings, nobles, powerful professionals, and even legendary professionals. This was his first condescending to sign a contract with a small ring mage got rejected. Really toasting, not eating, and drinking. In the next moment, the giant palm of the sky waved, and Zaiwei could not dodge, and there was no resistance. The little Zaiwei was like a gravel in front of this huge palm, but this giant palm still failed to crush Zaiwei. A little silver light suddenly appeared, and it appeared in front of Zaiwei. This light is so slight, flashing and flashing, as if it will be extinguished at any time. This light is so pure, and the moment it sees it falls into silence. This light belongs to Ms Yin. Ai Luna? Is it you? He is not an elf, why should you shelter him? For the first time, the wise Fook has appeared in a wrong look. He found that this seemingly simple thing seemed to be out of mastery. What disappoints Zaiwei is that Ms Yin does not reveal any image. Only the silver light is getting brighter and brighter, and it is slowly swaying in the heart of Zaiwei's broken heart. However, this seemingly bleak moonlight, like the most dazzling light of the heavens, makes the body of the wise Wilkaz like a mountain stalwart suddenly collapse. Damn Iluna! The original contract is coming to an end. You are waiting for the coming fall. For the small human beings, I have already recorded the taste of your soul. Don't come to the abyss. With a roar, the Demon King slid away. The light of the silver moon shines on the heart of the lake that has become a ruin, like the mother's gentlest touch on the child. After a while, Zaiwei's heart lake was reborn again. This time, there was a bright moon, and it stayed in the heart of Zaiwei's heart lake forever. Welcome to the readers to read, the latest, fastest, the most fire. The serialized works are all available at mobile users. Please read.